So thank you so much for joining this session. My name is a quick, just a moment, a quick introduction about myself. My name is Nataraj. I'm from basically India. I hope there are people who are joining outside India as well in this particular session. So my name is Nataraj. I've been into market from last, just a moment. So I've been into market from last 10 years roughly. So I started my journey as an investor in the beginning stage, and after that I got into positional trading, like swing trading and all. And I used to basically trade crude oil and USD INR trade setups in the initial stages when I used to work in the company. And after that I got into the full-time profession of the trading and started intraday trading as well. As of today, I handle my trades using the algorithmic systems, and also at the same time I also use the order flow and market profile concepts and price action concept. These three concepts are the main important concepts that I use in my trading. And so far I've been like last just 1 year back I also published a book called Mastermind of Day Trading. Well, this is about a quick summary of myself, so I hope this is clear. Well, let's straight away get into the subject. Before I proceed further, I have a question. How many of you have an idea about Bookmap? Already you know, or you are using a Bookmap. How many of you are there who are already using Bookmap? You can interact with me in the chat option. I want you to be interactive, so otherwise I don't want this to be the one-way communication, so I want you to interact. How many of you are already using Bookmap? Okay. So Discord setup is little new for me, so I'm just warming up myself with it. So yep, link is there. Anyone is there who are already familiar with Bookmap, already using Bookmap tool for analysis? I use it as an additional tool. Great. Just a moment. You can interact with me using the chat option. So whenever I ask a question, so please be interactive, so that's how we can learn many things, and also it can add a lot of value to as well in the meantime. Okay, so just a moment. Free version I'm using. Great, Manjo. All right. Before Bookmap, how many of you have an idea about order flow or footprint? How many of you have an idea about it, how this works, how to look into this particular information? Mostly analyze NQ. Okay, great. I know about order flow, but don't really use it. Okay. Yes, I use Bell TPO with TrueData. Okay, Manju. Okay. Cool. So I want to dedicate my initial time before we directly jump into the tool or jump into the overall analysis of today, Nifty and BankNifty. Before that, we will try to understand the fundamental thing of the entire order flow analysis or footprint analysis, right? So before understanding the fundamental and essential part of it, so it will not, it doesn't make any sense to go and directly analyze the charts, right? So to give it an example, just give me a moment. Before we understand the advanced steps, what we need to have a clarity on two important things. System. Okay, cool. Okay, let me take this. Okay, cool. I hope you are able to see the screen. So there are two kind of orders. Okay, so basically we need to understand something called as market structure. In the initial stage, before we understand how the overall order flow works, we need to understand market structure. Okay, I have a question to you here, that how you think as market moves up and down, what makes market moves up and down? Can you quickly type that and interact in the chat option? You can answer in the chat option. Just a moment. Buyers and sellers. Okay, that's a wonderful answer from Link. Any other answers? What you think about why market moves up and down? What makes market moves up and down? Bid and ask, Sudeepta. Okay, cool. Any other answers? Well, there is a wonderful answer from JV saying that market orders. When I say market structure, right? So basically we need to understand how the market moves here, right? So basically there are two major type of markets or category of orders which makes market move up and down. Okay, so let me give an example here. The first one is, we can call it as a passive orders. Don't worry, I will explain what it is. First type of orders are basically the passive orders. Second one is basically called as active orders, or we can also call it as aggressive orders. In simple words, passive orders are the orders that are in open position now. Okay, so it's basically presently in the present moment they are in the open position. So unless they are open position, that means what? The trade is not yet happened. The trade is not completed. So basically they are open condition. So basically we can call it as a limit orders, right? So the limit orders that are available in the system are basically called as a passive orders because it is not yet executed. Second, we call it as an active or aggressive order. We can consider to stick with the aggressive orders. So that is basically the market orders, right? When someone places a market orders, for example, let's say someone is placing a limit order at 100 rupees, buy order, right? Buy limit. If someone is entering into the market with a market selling at this particular level with an aggressive way, that means they are placing a market orders. In that particular case, the trade happens. In that sense, the real trade happens when there is a presence of aggressive orders, right? When there is an aggressive orders or the market orders, that is what helps the trade to complete, and that is what makes the market to move up and down. When someone places aggressive orders, like let's say for example in this case there was a limit order at 100 rupees, right? 99 rupees some order is there, and 98 rupees there is some orders. So someone places a huge order as a market or aggressive orders. So first of all they look for 100. This is the immediate available offer, immediate available bid for at that particular point of time. So that will be consumed. After this particular price level is completed, market will look for the next one. So assume that at 100 rupees, this is a critical point guys, so I want you to be attentive here. So in this level, assume that there are 100 orders. Okay, at 100 rupees price the 100 orders are available. Once that 100 orders are completed, the market will move to the next point, right? So that is where the best bid available, which is 99 in this case, and orders will start to consume here. The one who placed the limit order at this particular point, so we can call those orders as a passive orders. That was not yet completed, but when the aggressive orders comes into the play, so they consume the initial level offers, initial level bids in this case, and after that they look for the next level bid. So assume that in this case we have 50 quantities at 99 level. Assume the biggest order that I entered here as an aggressive order or the market order had consumed these two levels, and again it will look for the next best available bid. So this is how market will move from 100 rupees. The traded price will move from 100 rupees to 98 rupees, right? So it's a simple mechanism, but yet important to understand, because the entire concept of order flow or footprint charts completely relies on this core principle. All right, passive orders and aggressive order. What order flow does is basically it concentrate on the completed order. That means it completely aggregate the aggressive orders in a detailed manner. So for example, in this case, the order that has placed here, the open orders were basically the pending orders was the passive orders. But once the market order placed into that place, the completion of trade happens. Once the trade happens, that will be considered or calculated, and that will be represented in the form of different graphics, which I will be explaining in the next slide. Okay, is this clear? The basic how market moves up and down. This is the core and fundamental principle of the entire order flow analysis. Is this clear? Right. Okay. Cool. So once this concept is clear, we now know how market moves up and down. But what important here is that the order flow will only tell us the concept of volumes, how the volume behavior is at the present moment. But when we look at a particular candlestick charts, we will get to know the 4 important data points. So basically it aggregates or it summarizes the 4 data points and displays us in a open, high, low, close format. Okay. So let's take another slide here. Just a moment. Well, in this case, yeah. So a basic candlestick presents us 4 data points. Assume that market opened here and closed here. The body indicates open and close, and the lower level, this one is the low and this one is the high. So this aggregates the 4 data points and it presents in a graphical manner of a candle. That's why the moment we see any particular candles, we will get to know that, okay, there are 4 data points over here, and we will get to know the graphics of those 4 data points. But let's get back to the Bookmap chart here. Okay, so don't get confused with yourself. So basically, when I saw this particular chart for the first time, it was really a overwhelming experience. But once I got to know the core principle of it, how this works and all, so definitely it gives a different perspective altogether. Okay, let me disable everything. Okay, like I have disabled everything, and the only thing that I'm able to see now is basically, if I zoom in, you'll be able to see 2 lines over here. One is the red line, another one is the green line. So I will explain what that is. And the candlestick charts. What Bookmap does as an indicator, or what it basically does is, just a moment. Okay, cool. So when we see the candlestick charts, yeah, so we will be able to see the 4 data points. Okay, so where the market opened, where the market closed, where it has ended, everything. So basically the 4 data points we will get to know. But what this tool does is what happened within that particular time frame. For example, this was the opening candle of today. Market opened here and closed here. This was the high, and there was no low left. Almost it's kind of an open low, right? So what this particular tool does is, within that particular time frame, this is a critical point, within that particular period of a time, what was the best bid and offer available? So, and what is the dynamic movement of it? So that best bid and best offer will be calculated and will be stored in the system. So that is exactly what you are seeing in these 2 lines. So if I zoom in, the red line that you see at that particular point of time, and most importantly, it will not consider the time. It's basically a tick by tick data. Every single time there is a change. Okay, so now the best bid at 100 rupees, the next movement, it can happen in 1 second, it can happen in 5 minutes, doesn't matter. But it will consider the movement there is a change in the overall shift in the overall bid and offers, that will be reflected and stored in this particular chart. So this is a basic line chart. Whenever there is a change in bid and offers, best bid and best offer, the immediate available bid and offer will be stored here. So which again tells us, or which again shows us what the structure that is forming within that particular candlestick pattern, right? So this is exactly how it looks like. So for example, this was the initial candle of today. Sorry guys. Yeah. So this was the initial candle of today. When we see this, we only able to see the price data points. But if you close observe here, there is an internal structure within that particular candle. So you can clearly see here that there was like sideways market until this particular point of time, and there was a breakdown here, and after that again market took the higher high patterns here. So what price pattern that we usually see in candlestick charts, it may be a single candlestick charts or combination of it. So basically it dissect the overall candles and it shows us what structure the market has formed within that particular candlestick pattern. That is the importance of it. That gives an additional edge to see what is happening within the candlesticks. That is an important point of it. And this is the first indicator. So basically bid and offer chart. It's basically an point that tells us where the best offer and best bids are available at the present moment within that particular candlestick chart. So this is a classical example. This is a classical example here. See what happened. Market opened here, market closed here. When you see the candlestick charts, you will only able to see the information over there in the form of open, high, low, close. But if you observe this chart, right? If you observe this chart, you can clearly see that market is forming higher high, higher low. So the entire candlestick charts, within that there was a microstructure which tells us that in that particular entire time period, market was making a higher and higher low by moving in an uptrend. So this is a critical point that we get. This is a point one. And there is one more indicator that I personally, started to use and personally liked is, let me add that. So in this case, you can add that here, you can see studies and configuration. If you click on this particular point, you will be able to access all the indicators available in the Bookmap. In this case, first, the basic indicator I will enable is a VWAP. VWAP, I hope you already I hope you have already an idea about VWAP, how VWAP looks like. It's basically a consideration of volume and the price, weighted price, right? And then I will add a cumulative volume delta. Don't worry, I will explain what exactly it is. And I will also add something called as volume dots. Okay. Now we need to understand a term called delta here. That is the third important term to understand this chart well, right? So just a moment. Something called as delta. What is delta? Delta is basically buy minus sell orders. For example, let's say buy means always include from now onwards it's aggressive buy. Okay, that means a market orders which executed. So that will be represented over the Bookmap chart. It's Bookmap charts or any particular order flow chart. So aggressive buy, aggressive sell. Okay. So assume that aggressive buy orders at that particular price point, it's 100 rupees, 100 quantities. Okay. Aggressive buy orders. And aggressive sell orders is, let's say, like 120. Okay. So in this case, 100 minus 120 is how much? Minus 100 minus 120. I want to know the answer from your end. 100 minus 120. Just a moment. Minus 20, right? So just a moment, there is little hiccup going on from my end. Just a moment, guys. I'm extremely sorry. Yep. Okay. Okay, cool. So we now know that at this particular price point, the aggressive buy orders at 100 quantities and aggressive sell at 120, total it is minus 20. So that means at that particular point of time, who was in control? Aggressive sellers were in control. It's as simple as that, right? There is one more point to it. As I said, you should not be looking at this particular information, order flow information standalone. You have to combine it with a price to get the complete clarity. How the price behaved at that particular point of time comparing to the overall delta. So basically delta means who was in control in terms of the aggressiveness, who was completely aggressive at that particular point of time is what we will get to know. If the delta is positive, that means aggressive buyers were dominant. If this is negative, that means aggressive sellers were dominant. Okay. So this aggressive word you need to keep in the mind. So that is very critical point. So now let's again get back to the chart here. So what this dot does, this is a very interesting chart. So what this dot does is basically it clearly displays us, right? If this is bigger, that clearly shows that the green color dot, right? So it clearly shows us that in terms of the delta, there was a positive delta, and at the same time, comparing to the other point of time of execution, at this point of time, there was a bigger bubble. That means the bigger delta, bigger positive delta. Now I have a question to you, right? Try to be interactive with me. I have a question to you. At this particular price, okay, at this particular point of time, who was in control and what it indicates, what it signifies according to you as per our present understanding? Buyers in control with good volumes. Okay, that's a wonderful answer. Any other answers? CVD positive, so buyers in control. Okay. Buyers are in control and positive delta. Okay. I want you to think it like this. Okay. If this clearly, as I said, delta indicates the aggressiveness of that particular price level. So in this case, the bubble indicates that first the moment that you see the bubble, it clearly indicates that comparing to other bubbles, it is looking bigger. That means there is some more interest or more activity happened. That's a point one. Point two, it indicates that there is a more aggressiveness in terms of the buy. That's a second point. But third important point is that what exactly the price behavior, how price behaved. In this case, you can clearly say, you need to understand price action part wise. So in this case, there was no upper wick, right? Upper wick in the candle. I think let me show that to you in this chart. You will be able to understand in a better way. Okay. Just a moment, just a plain candlestick charts. Okay. So this is a 15-minute chart. As you can see, this was the candle that we were looking in, right? If you observe this particular candle carefully, the overall price action, what it suggests in terms of the price, buyers were clearly dominant in this, and most importantly, there was no presence from the sellers to push the price at the lower level. That's why there is a negligible wick in the upper side of the candle. So this is how we read the price in terms of the candle. So that's what exactly we are seeing here. So this whatever left side auction that has happened here, left side structure that has formed, it's basically belong to this particular candle, right? So in this case, price wise also there is an aggressiveness, and the overall volume wise also, you can see in this entire structure, you can clearly see only one time there was an aggressive sell attempt at this point, right? But most of the cases we are seeing a big bubbles of the green color. That means the aggressive buyers were in clear control, and most importantly, the price was also aggressive at that particular point of time. So this gives us the hint. Okay, this is an important point. This gives us a hint that overall buyers were aggressive, at the same time decisive. How am I saying that decisive? Decisive basically based on the price model, right? Assume in another example, in the same case, right? In the same case, the same aggressive buyers, aggressive delta is available in terms of the volumes, right? In terms of the volumes, aggressive delta is available, positive delta. But what if there is a wick in the upper side? I want to know answer from your end. First thing, we are confirming the volume to see who was aggressive, at the same time who was decisive. These are the two important points that you need to look at. When you combine this, you will get to know what exactly is happening in terms of the overall information. Is it making sense? Are you with me so far? I'm extremely sorry. It's a new setup for me in terms of the Discord, so I'm still now being comfortable with it. So if there are any issues with that, please excuse us. Next time it won't happen. And what about the concept? Is it clear so far? Any questions in this? Because this is a fundamental thing that we are going to look at. Who was aggressive? Who was decisive? It's as simple as that. I want you to be interactive. Is it clear so far? Any questions with respect to this information? Okay, thank you, Mark Crew. Okay, Mark Crew. Any questions in this so far? I know this is fundamental, but this is absolutely critical, right? So with this, we now know how to combine our orders, or how to combine this particular indicator with the price, so that we will get to know who was aggressive, point one. Second point is who was decisive. It's as simple as that. When there is a correlation between that, for example, in this case, what is happening? Okay, this is one of the key important. We now know that within this particular candle, most of the time we saw the bigger bubbles in terms of the, in terms of the volume. That clearly indicates the buyers were aggressive, right? The aggressive buy orders are there. But at the same time, if you also look at the price, right, price pattern, price is also forming a decisive closing. That means aggressive buyers are decisive. That indicates the presence of initiativeness. It's called as initiative buying. Let me give you an example. You will understand it in a clear way. For example, let's say an Apple iPhone, right? iPhone. Presently, assume that the iPhone is presently trading at 20k. Okay, this is a hypothetical example. You will not get it at that price. 20k it is presently trading at. But overnight, there is some news, something called as tomorrow onwards, the Apple is not going to Apple is not going to produce further more iPhones. In that particular case, what is going to happen in terms of the market behavior or in terms of the buyer's behavior? If you want to buy the iPhone, what is going to happen on tomorrow? More demand, right? So that's a wonderful answer. At the same time, supply will reduce, right? So ideally, what will happen? People will rush to the iPhone stores to buy the iPhone because they are getting a confirmation from the company itself that there will be a shortage in the iPhone in the near future. In that particular case, even if I ask you to buy at 22k, okay, even if I ask you, if I have the stock, if I ask you to buy at 22k, will you buy or not? Yes, right? Similarly, if this demand started to increase, you are going to consume it. If this pattern is happening, right? If this particular pattern is happening in the market, that means market is taking initiativeness. So market is trying to, or majority of the people are trying to buy the market even at the higher level. That means they are convinced that there is a shortage in terms of the supply and demand is more for the product. So in that particular case, the initiativeness happens in the market. When there is a decisiveness in terms of the price and when there is an aggressiveness at the same time in the direction of the decisiveness or in the direction of the candle or in the direction of the price, then that clearly indicates initiative buying. Someone is interested in the price at the higher level also, so that they believe in such a way, they are so decisive that even in the future they believe that market is trying to move up, so they will get the benefit from it. All right, that's why you are able to see the bigger orders in the same direction. At the same time, price is also trending in that particular direction. That indicates initiative buying or initiative selling. What is the example of initiative selling? So basically, when you see the aggressive sell orders, right, big bubbles like this, and at the same time candle is decisively closing in the lower direction, that indicates that sellers are aggressive, at the same time dominant. At that time, that indicates a presence of initiative selling, right? This is a level 1. And in this particular case, another point of comes in. So same example, okay, let's come back to the iPhone example. Ideally, if you look the past, okay, if you look at the past, right now you are a buyer, assume that you are a buyer of iPhone, you looked at the past, right? Overall average price of this iPhone has traded from 22k, okay, and below, let's say 18k, okay, 18,000 to 22,000 is the range with which the entire iPhone has traded in the past 1 year or 2 years. Now, if you are a buyer, right, which price will be more attractive for you to get into the market or buy the iPhone in this case? 18k or 22k, right? Assume by any because of some reason the overall iPhone price has reached 18k, right? 18k. In that case, in that particular case, will you try to buy it or not as a buyer of iPhone? Yes, right? So when you buy here, that means you are buying the low. As per how are you defining this low? Low basically based on the past, right? So in this case, you will become the responsive buyer. This is called as responsive activity. So you are responding to the price. In simple words, if you are buying at the low, that means you are responding to the price. If you are buying at the higher prices, believing that market will move further higher, then you are initiating the price or you are initiating the activity. So far, is it clear? Initiative and responsive activity. Yes. Just a moment. Okay. So this is, I hope, how many of you are getting an idea how to look into this particular information? First thing, we will look for a aggressiveness. Second thing, we will look for a price structure. Based on that, we will see who is decisive, whether they are decisive in that direction or not. In that, we will try to understand whether this is an initiative activity or a responsive activity. And based on that, we will try to position ourselves along with the present market activity. Okay. So now let's come back to the overall price structure of today. All right. So far, any questions? Okay. So before that, before I proceed further, if there is any questions, I will take it. Any questions in this? So far, any questions? Okay. Cool. Let's try to understand. Let's try to understand the chart in a better way. First, let's look into the overall price structure which is forming. So since we are looking for an intraday trades, I will straight away shift to 1 hour. So we will get to know the past data here. That's why I'm using a trading view chart here. And we will look into the order flow analysis in the Bookmap. Okay. So in terms of the overall price structure, it is clearly evident that price is presently trending in the upward direction. Okay. How am I saying that? You can clearly see that market is making continuous higher high, higher low patterns, right? And in the today's first hour, market has already broken the last swing high. Okay. So this is a point 1. Point 2 information that we are going to look at is where are the key levels? Where are the present key levels of the market? That means where possibly market can take support and resistances. Okay. So let's mark them. Right. So this is where we have a resistance, immediate resistance, and this is where we have a major support and resistance. That means at the lower level at this particular point, right? Broadly, if you observe, market is presently trading within this range. Almost from 18 August 2022, market is presently trading within this range. And immediately for a day, in terms of the day perspective, we have a support at 17,805. So right now, market is approaching the immediate major resistance because that is the resistance where we saw the bigger sell-off, right? So market is presently approaching to that, and it is definitely interesting to see what activity is going to happen here. Now, I have a question to you. Okay, this is an important question. Listen to me carefully. Assume that market has broken here. Okay, assume that market has broken here in this particular level, and there is no major presence in terms of the wicks. There is no major presence of the seller. At the same time, if there is an aggressive volumes in this particular candle, the breakout candle, what it represents? I want to know the answer from you. I hope you are getting my point, right? What it indicates or what it signifies? Decisive breakout. That's a wonderful answer from Mark Rew, right? This is how we look into the information, not just see price is, this is where we are looking only the OHLC. The price will show us what is the aggregated value of OHLC. But when you look into the internal structure of this particular candle, you will get to know what is the possibility of this particular breakout. That means in this case, as per the example, the possibility of an initiative buying is quite high. That means people even can pay for the higher prices. So we will position ourselves in the buy order in that particular case. Second example, in the same case, right, at the present moment, according to the present market context, assume that there is a buy. There is the breakout candle. Okay, market closed above the last resistance, but there is a wick here, right? There is a wick here at the higher level of the candle, right? In that particular case, again aggressive buyers, you can see the aggressive big volumes or aggressive big bubbles in the Bookmap chart. What it indicates? There are two terms, decisiveness and second thing is aggressiveness. Responsive sellers. That means the auction, that's a wonderful answer from Makri. So basically responsive sellers are taking control of the auction. Even though there is a presence of big green bubbles, that means the aggressiveness is in the buyer side, but the presence of seller is clearly visible. In that particular case, it clearly shows us that in terms of the aggressiveness, there was a buy aggressive orders, but there is a, in terms of the price, there is a selling presence. So possibility of a market reversal from this particular, in terms of the, in this example, market moving downwards will, the possibility of market moving downwards will increase. Why? Because we are assuming based on the price pattern and also considering the aggressive buy. In that particular case, we can safely assume that the market reversal from that particular case is quite high. Again, I have a question to you. In this case, assume the same candle, okay? The same candle, there is a presence of the wick. But what if you see in terms of here, we were seeing the green bubbles, but now instead of green bubbles, you are seeing aggressive red bubbles in this particular candle structure. What it indicates? Now this is a tricky question, but you have to think and answer me because this is where the answer lies. Same pattern, nothing changed, but instead of green bubbles, you are seeing the red bubbles. That means aggressive selling at this particular level. What it represents? This is where things get little advanced and little confusing, but don't worry, I will definitely clear that particular thing to you. I want to know the answer from your end. Buyers trying to push the price higher, but aggressive sellers observing buyers. Okay, any other answers? Sellers are booking profit. Okay, that's a wonderful answer. Any other answers? Aggressive sellers observed by buyers. So what would you expect? In this example, assume that the price, in terms of the price, there is a presence of a seller, but you are seeing aggressive selling at that particular level. What direction you will think market will move on after this? Down. At least a pullback or reversal. Okay, that's a wonderful answer from Purna, which says that pullback or reversal. See, you have to understand the context. I said two words, aggressiveness, and one more important word is decisiveness, right? In terms of the decisiveness, buyers are lacking. But in terms of the aggressiveness, sellers are becoming aggressive, right? So if the sellers are becoming aggressive, markets are trying to sell at this particular level, right? Possibility of market moving in the downward direction will increase. Why? Because who can sell it here? Who can aggressively sell it this particular level? Definitely the someone who is so confident because they are responding to the price. As per the price action, sellers are responding here. Otherwise, we would not have seen the wicks in the candle, right? In that particular case, the market reversing from this particular level increases, right? So basically, it clearly indicates that we need to look for two information. One is who is aggressive in that particular candle, especially if you look this particular information at the level of crucial levels where the market can possibly break or false break, right? Like support and resistance. And if you look at the structure of that candle, you will get to know, okay, what is the possibility of activity that can take after this particular action. And according to that, we can plan our trade decisively. That's the basic idea of using order flow charts, right? So far, any questions? After this, we will move on to the overall order flow chart and we will try to analyze what is happening in terms of the order flow chart. Price wise, we know primarily market is presently trending in the higher direction, right? Upper direction. So for any questions with respect to this? So what ultimately we are trying to do here is that we are trying to accumulate the data of aggressiveness in terms of the bubbles, which clearly indicates us where the aggressive orders are taking place in, and in which way the market is moving, how the price is behaving. Based on that, we are defining whether the market is making an initiative move or a responsive move. Based on that, we will position ourselves according to the existing activity of the market. Okay. Is it clear? Any questions in this so far? So now I also have a question here. What will be our trade plan for considering this particular example? So far it is happening. As for this, what will be our planning for the day? Just I'm curious to know what you will try to plan according to this particular information. Meanwhile, I will also open the Bookmap. Look for selling activity around the resistance. That's a wonderful answer. Any other answers? Market is presently approaching to that level, but try to align yourself with a bigger picture of the market. Presently, market is trending upward. Wait for the potential reversal. So the overall big picture says in terms of the price is presently trading within this 18,006 in terms of the Nifty, and in terms of the resistance, the bigger support, sorry, 70,250. Within that, the market is presently trending and the market is approaching to 18,000 level. And we are going to observe the price behavior at this particular point of time, and we will try to take an action based on that. If there is a, if there is, as I explained, two examples I have already given. One, in that particular case, it can break out or it can take a false breakout, but we will take the confirmation from the Bookmap chart. Okay. So let's again same in the same chart. Let's analyze the Bank Nifty, and after that I will move on to the Bookmap chart. Okay. So let's add Bank Nifty chart here. What is the overall structure suggesting? Comparing to Nifty, Bank Nifty is little stronger. It's basically a little stronger in terms of the price behavior. Why I'm saying that? Because you can clearly see this is also one of the important point I want to mention. So earlier, in terms of the Nifty, market was trading within this particular range. But surprisingly, Bank Nifty has broken this range, and also it took the pullback support and it is moving in the breakout direction. That means the breakout decisively market has broken this, and market is presently trending, or momentum is happening in the direction of buyers, right? In this particular case, I have a question. Is it an initiative activity or a responsive activity? Whatever it is happening presently, is it an initiative activity or a responsive activity? Initiative. Wonderful. So people are getting what I'm telling. Okay, so that's a wonderful thing. Now, when you know that initiative buying is taking place, what will be your plan? How you want to be involved here in terms of the Bank Nifty? Nifty was a different context altogether. Bank Nifty is a different context altogether. What you will try to do? Align with responsive activity? No. JV on the buy side, right? One thing, you can buy the breakouts. You can buy the breakouts, right? Based on the confirmation, or you can look for, let's say market breaks here, right? If market breaks here and if it takes pullback here, right? You can also take an entry at the pullback level. So ultimately you will try to align yourself in the buying side, because you know that the market is presently initiating the overall buying activity. Okay. So now let's move on to the Bookmap chart and analyze what is happening over there in terms of the order flow analysis. Okay. So let me erase it. Right now, this is a Nifty chart. Okay. You want me to reopen the overall bookmap again, because it was already open when I started the session. If you want me to open reback, because there is little settings available in the beginning stage, you want me to do that? Reopen it. Yeah. Cool. Save and exit. This is where we have a moment, guys. Okay, so Bookmap, if I open the Bookmap, right? So the moment I open a Bookmap, I will be getting a lot of options here. So basically, I will select the simulation mode. Okay. Right now, the Pro package is activated in my package. So basically, I will be able to access more than 4,000 symbols. But at the same time, I'll be able to open the chart of, I think, 20 charts. So that we will see in the last section of this part. Let's simulation mode. I'm directly opening it. Okay. So it will check for licensing and all. So once the license is confirmed, it will open a blank window like this. And in this, if I go to the connections, right? So right now the TrueData connection is already configured. So don't worry if you want to get configured with TrueData, so you can contact their team. So they will help you to configure it. If I connect this, right? The data will be connected to the Bookmap application. So Bookmap is basically an application you can install in the Windows, or the installation is also available in a MacBook. Okay. So now it's saying that TrueData is connected. That means the data feed is connected. Okay. Yeah. Urvashi, thank you so much. 10 instruments you can open at the same time. So even though you have an access to 4,000 plus instruments, you can open 10 plus instruments at the same time. You can access the data of 10 plus instruments in the same time. 10 instruments, sorry. So now we know that we connected with a TrueData. That means the data is now pulled into the system. If I click on this plus button, right, I'll be having a lot of information, a platform TrueData. I'm not going to change anything over here. So symbol wise, I'm going to type Nifty, right? Nifty I. Nifty I is a continuation future of this particular month. So by default, it will automatically change for, you don't have to change every month on month. You don't have to change the symbol name. So automatically it will consider the present month overall, whatever the future that is available for the present series, that will be taken here. And tick size 0.05 is the minimum tick size for Indian market. Right now, we don't have sophisticated data, but Bookmap has done a great work in taking this particular, whatever available it is there, available information they have taken, and they have got into this particular thing. So 0.05 is the tick size, and if I click on subscribe, right, I'll be able to see this particular information over here. So just give this 2 or 3 minutes, so it will load all the data, past data. All right. So as you can see here, the data is open now. Okay. So how can you enable this indicator? So basically, if you go to this particular information over here, the studies and configuration, so you will be able to see all the information over here. You can enable the candle and disable the candle. That's the point one. And cumulative delta. Okay. What is cumulative delta does? So basically, it's basically takes the same data point, like who was aggressive buyer, aggressive buying minus aggressive selling, that it will try to add it into the cumulative way. So can you see this lower level information, the lower section information that clearly indicates if the cumulative delta is increasing, that means the aggressiveness in the market overall increasing. That's the information that we'll get here. If it is in a red, that means aggressive sellers are in control. Aggressive sellers are progressing. So that's the indication we get from this particular chart. The representation changes, but the concept remains the same. Okay. So you can enable and disable all these particular data points here. So VWAP you can enable and disable. I will keep it enabled. And volume bars, you can also add a 2D volumes at the lower level. You can see here in this case, so we are able to see the 2D volumes. And volume imbalance, it's presently not available. As I said, there is a data, the data that we get in Indian market is not sophisticated like outside market. So definitely it may happen in the near future. So nobody can do anything about that. So whatever the information available right now, with according to that, all these particular information will able to access it. And the information that you see at the writer side, right? So session wise profile. So what you are seeing here is that is basically the session wise profile. You can add, just a moment. You can insert a column and you can add different parameters here, right? Configure column, instead of SVP, you can change COB, right? So basically it's a volume profile, right? What volumes are taking place in, so that will be represented in the form of profile. So I hope you guys are clear with the volume profile and market profile. If you don't know, definitely we'll be discussing it. So basically it distributes the volume. It distributes the volume in different price levels. For example, you can clearly see at 30,750, right? 30,750 is the number. 17,980 level, we saw the bigger spike in terms of the profile. You can see this profile, right? This profile is forming at the level of 17,975 to 995. The moment you see this information, you know that the most of the activity or the transactions are taking place between that particular ranges, right? That is the importance of it. So mainly we will be looking into the overall structure. What is the present structure that is happening in terms of the profile, right? And you can also change the time frame here, time slices. You can change it to any time frame that you are interested. So right now I will change it to 15 minute. Okay, just a moment. Okay, so yeah, the 15-minute chart is open now, and I'll be able to see the ask and bid structure, how it is presently forming. And we know that the market started to fall here, right? At the present moment, market is falling. It wasn't crossed. So just a moment, what was the level, the major resistance that we had in Nifty? Right, Nifty index futures around 18,006, right? 18,006. Let me change this to 15 minutes, right? So 18,000 is where we have a notional this thing. So the resistance we have, we can add the drawing to that particular level around 18,000, right? Yeah. So this is where we can monitor. Right now, it make no sense for us to take any particular decisions within this time frame right now. When the market reaches to this level, we have an opportunity to get into, right? So let's wait for that. Once this particular information or one particular market started to reach here, we can look for first thing what we see, what is the aggressiveness in terms of the aggressiveness, who is aggressive, and second time we will see the price information, whether the overall breakout is decisive or not decisive. Based on that, we will opt for our trade. At the moment, context says that in terms of the overall major resistance is presently at 18,000 and market is trying to approach here. And I have a statement here that the possibility of market breaking this particular level is quite high. Can anyone tell what is the reason? Breaking of this particular level, chances are quite high breaking. That I'm telling now only why. What might be the reason for it? By just looking into this particular information. What might be the reason behind it? Pullback has weak volume. That's a wonderful answer. Okay. So just a moment. So as you can clearly see that market is aggressively moving in terms of the volumes, and also it is making a decisive closing. And as we all know that there will be a pullbacks. Okay, so market will not move in a straight 45-degree line. At the present moment, market is taking a pullback here, and as Purna said, there is no significant volumes at the present moment in terms of the overall structure, right? And presently, if you just closely observe this information as well here, right? If the market will be able to break this pattern, at the present moment, we have a immediate resistance as per this bid and offer, right? Bid and offer, we have a immediate resistance at this level, somewhere here, right? If market will be able to take off this particular level, then we can clearly see that the shift in the pattern and market can break this. The only logical approach for us right now is to wait for market to reach this price, and we will see whether the breakout happens or not. One, there are two ways with which we can take an entry. We can directly aggressively take an entry. That means you can immediately place a buy order here and you can take an entry. With that, we will be aggressively, the moment market crosses that particular level, we will be taking an entry. That's a point one. Point two, we can also wait for a confirmation of the close. That's a conservative entry. So suppose you have taken an aggressive entry here. The moment market breaks this level, Based on that, you have already taken entry. In that particular case, you will see the market behavior, and after that, if market is not behaving or if the market is not performing in our favor, then we will move our stop loss to this particular level. So safely the immediate reversal. So this is where the market is taking reversal, right? This low, little buffer below the particular low can become our stop loss, or we can also consider this what do you say, the VWAP level as our stop loss. That's also one of the trade plan we can have. So until unless price reaches to the major resistance level, it make no sense to take any particular random trades in between. That's how my trading style is all about. So basically I look for who is aggressive, what kind of activities that is taking place at the present moment. Based on that, we can plan our trades. This is according to Nifty. As I said, you can add multiple symbols. I will be adding a BankNifty chart now. BankNifty. Okay. So if I click just BankNifty, so I'll be able to access the futures of BankNifty. I'll add that as well. You can add a historical data up to, I think, 7 day, but I will stick to 60 hours, roughly around 3 days of data, right? Because see, I will be looking into the Bookmap chart to see the internal structure of the candles, at the same time overall aggressiveness in terms of the bubble. So that what we can see here, right? If I subscribe to this, I'll be able to see the BankNifty in different section, different window. So let's change this to 15 minutes. Well, in terms of the BankNifty, right? BankNifty, we know that market is presently trending. In terms of the Nifty, there was a range, but in terms of the BankNifty, there was a decisive breakout and market is presently taking a momentum in the upward direction. So as per this analysis, I want to understand from your end, what will be your plan in terms of the BankNifty by looking at this information, right? What will be your plan in BankNifty? Meanwhile, let me add this. Pullback has weak volume. Okay, that's a wonderful answer. Sorry, I think that was for Nifty. Yeah. Wait for the day high to be broken to enter longs. Wonderful. So that's what we do, right? So at the present moment, the day high is at somewhere around 40,730. If the market approaches to this level, we can take the long trade. Why? The first important thing that we have done, we understood the price structure, how the price is structuring at the present moment, and we are positioning ourselves with the existing primary trend. That's the main thing. Either you can enter at the pullback low. For example, if the market approaches back to this level, right? If the market approaches back to the day low, and you will see the auction here, if there is a pullback, if there is a presence of responsive buying, you will take a buy entry here and you will target the day high itself as the target. So that's the one plan. And one more plan is that you will wait for the break of this particular line. That's a day high, right? It's almost 1058. So if the market takes a break here, we will be able to witness the, there is a possibility that we witness some more activity over there at the day high today. And as we saw that in terms of the price, market is presently trending. Let's add BankNifty. So it's clearly structuring in the higher high, higher low format. This is where we have a major resistance, 14,690, right? 14,690. Let's mark that. Okay. It's clear. And what was the level? Sorry, forgot. 40,685, roughly 14,685. Yeah, somewhere around at this level, right? Just a moment. Okay, sorry guys, I think I haven't added the future chart. 40,750. Okay, sorry, 40,750. Okay. 40,750. Yeah, this is where we have. So with this, we know now that if the market reaches to this level, we will be able to see the majority of the activity, and we can also mark today's high also. As I think someone said, yeah, JV said that we will be marking today's high. If the market approaches to this level, right, the chances of market activity increasing is very high, and also volume also increase, but in which direction the volume will increase, that we will get to know by the bookmap indicators, right? Is it clear so far? Any particular questions with respect to this Nifty and Bank Nifty analysis so far? Any questions? And hope you enjoyed the session, right? Any questions so far? Okay, thank you. How was the session? Session was helpful. I hope you got the clarity how we should look for the information of order flow. Thank you, Manju. And next time, please inform others also in your circle. There will be people who will be interested to learn about this, because you don't get this kind of information in the book. So definitely it is only possible to get through the definitive observation. So in that particular case, definitely it will help them as well. Next time when you are joining the session, please do join the session, and please inform this particular thing to your friends. Okay. So thank you guys. That's it from my end for today's thing. So let's meet in the next session. And thank you so much for your wonderful time. See you in the next session. Yeah. Urvashi, over to you.